Hi friends, Cindy Strickland Hernandez here. I 16 years ago went through bankruptcy, and 1 week shy of the 16th anniversary of that became a millionaire, not by accident but by design. And so I like to share some of my strategies with you guys around building wealth. And a comment I received on one of my last videos was to share some lessons learned in dealing with investment properties. So Jason Grantham, this one is for you. So I had a tenant who was a single mom, and she was late on rent almost every single month. And so I said to her, well, rather than paying me once a month, what days of the month do you get paid? And let's cut your rent in half, and then you can pay me on those days. And rather than chasing her down once a month for rent, I was having to chase her down twice a month for rent. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. I do recommend always keeping leases on file for a couple reasons. One is if you ever decide to sell the investment property, then you've got a lease that's in hand and maintainable for that future landlord. So it'll keep the value up. And then when I first started in real estate investing, I had someone who had signed a year lease, and then all my leases converted month to month. Well, this particular person moved out in November, and it's really hard to find a tenant, at least in my market. Everybody's market's different. But I was trying to get 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, single-family homes with a fenced-in backyard in a great school district, and I just couldn't get anybody else into that house until like February of the next year. So I had about 3 months of vacancy. So what I started doing after that is if somebody moved in September, I made their lease expire in June. If they moved in July, their lease expired in June, because I never had problem finding new renters in the summertime. If you have a primary residence and you're looking to upgrade your home or move to a different location or move into something bigger, then refinance that house before you move out of it if you need the cash, because it's your primary residence, and then rent it out and move into your next home. And that way you're continuing to build your assets while the rent is paying for them. Another strategy that we've used is called a 1031 exchange. You have to have a 1031 intermediary involved, but you sell one rental property, roll the funds from that property into the next one, and defer capital gains tax. So that's kind of our long-term strategy, is continue to do that until we pass away, and then the kids will inherit all of the assets. For background checks on my long-term rentals, I use TransUnion. You email the prospective tenant some forms to fill out, like it goes automatically to them, and then you get back the results. And then based on that, and every state has different laws of how many weeks or months of security deposit you can charge, depending on the length of their lease. At least that's how it is in North Carolina. And so if someone's credit comes back poor, then I will take more of a security deposit than if they don't. I did use a realtor when I had rental properties in Phoenix to list them for me, because the city was so big and it was really hard to find people on Craigslist. For my rental properties in North Carolina, I've used Craigslist, Trulia, and Facebook Marketplace. And then for the beach house, it's a vacation rental, I've used VRBO and Airbnb. And then one of the strategies that we used on the fourplex that we bought was to go in as the tenants left, update the units, and raise the rent. So we've been able to increase the rent on that fourplex by $390 since we bought it. Originally the mortgage on it was $1,450, but with the escrow analysis, it was just reduced to $1,291. So without vacancy and expenses included, we are cash flowing on that one like $1,900 a month or $1,890, something like that. So even if we do have a short-term vacancy or some work that needs to be done, there's a lot of profit there in the monthly rent to support it. So Jason, those are some of my lessons learned. This video is for you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.